I'll be showing you guys around the
inside of bodies.
I will show you the inside of a body later. We got a new heart. That was an exciting thing. We have a new heart for you guys.
Excellent.
Awesome.
What for you is the most exciting thing about being a part of this show, and what's the thing that you hate or regret the most about ever saying yes? I count me in.
I thoroughly enjoy the storylines that come out week after week. I really, really do. And there was another question posed, like, do you like this to have the storylines ahead of time, or to know where your kind of arc is going? And both of our answers were not necessarily so. We like being surprised. We like knowing where the character is going next within the next episode. And it's that kind of feel and that kind of energy that the writers are putting in to make it, really pop, really kind of eventful and insightful. And that's what I look forward to. I look forward to every week and a half getting a new script and reading it and seeing how our stories develop.
I mean, to piggyback on that, just being a part of the whole universe, it's a wonderful group of people. Like the familial atmosphere is unlike anything I've ever experienced in my career. There's something about being a part of this whole group that's looking out for one another and really embracing the shows as they come out. And everybody has this purpose of creating unique, great television. And so it's great to be working alongside people who have the same drive and the same willingness to put everything on the line to give the best show we can. Come January when it's negative frigid 20 degrees,
yes,
we're very happy to be on a medical show because we're inside most of the time, but
absolutely.
But that's the only thing that is maybe that I.
That's the biggest challenge.
That's
Chicago
the biggest
winter.
challenge. Chicago winter.
It is.
Which oddly is the name of the next show coming out.
Right. Chicago winter.
Streets and Sand would be all about shit.
Right. It's a bunch of snowplowers. It's great.
That's right.
So congratulations on your recent performance.
Oh, thank you.
Wondering, I thought maybe when they had the band on the roof that episode, you might break out in song. Is that going to happen anytime soon?
I don't think so. There's actually somebody else who's going to break out in song on the show.
Oh yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Yeah, we are kind of. It's an embarrassment of riches with the musical talent that's on our show. Actually,
Yes.
It's pretty funny. But
It's incredibly talented. There's 9 of us. All 8 of them incredibly musically talented. I could probably clap well, but it is
But only on like
amazing.
the 1 and the 3, not,
Yeah,
not
totally.
on the 2 and the 4.
Yeah.
They're not
Only
even
in
going to be the triangle.
No, not even. Not even. I'm the guy that stands in the background.
Right.
I'm basically the roadie. I like bring equipment in.
Brian
and
plays
be
a
like,
wicked kazoo.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
No, it's
What is the musical talent on the show?
So I mean, Tori plays violin. She's an incredible
Amazing.
violinist.
Nick can
Nick
play the
is a singer and a
guitar,
guitarist.
singer, songwriter.
Epatha is a wonderful jazz singer.
Obviously, Colin is an amazing singer as well.
I do that thing.
It's being humble, but
It's,
yes. I mean, you sing at Carnegie Hall. I mean, come on. Not many
did
people
happen.
can say.
No, it's pretty cool. There's and it goes across the shows as well. Like there have been instances where we've all gotten together and like hung out and had jam sessions.
Yeah.
And, I missed a couple of them, which I was disappointed in. But it's cool when you're surrounded by that much talent and you all like each other. It's like, oh, sweet. And it's amazing that they've been able to incorporate some of that on the show. I am always a little hesitant to sing on TV. It's only happened once before. I like to keep those worlds a little separate.
All right.
But, if it was the right scenario.
And the guitar should be able to do everything.
Yeah.
When is the last time someone asked you for medical advice? What did you say?
It's
assuming this
usually
must happen,
the most like
Yeah.
it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Okay.
But my answer to that question is always I could help them dial 911
Exactly.
because I know
Exactly.
absolutely nothing.
But you can stitch, right?
I can actually one of the greatest compliments that one of our medical advisors gave me is that he would let me stitch him up if we're
big
in a
deal.
desperate situation, and there was
Right.
nobody else around.
And
he lost one
totally
arm.
last resort, and he couldn't do it
He
himself.
couldn't do it himself with one arm. Yeah.
And you were stuck in the snow. In the
That's right,
Right.
and, and it was
Completely.
a life-threatening situation. He
Yeah.
absolutely, it would like look like such a hack job. But it is. I can actually do those ties now. It's pretty cool. Like
That's awesome.
we do like my tiny little fingers can do them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's it like having Patty around romancing someone else?
it's great. It really is. I mean, the fact that my wife can be a part of the Chicago family, and she's, I think, I'm a little biased, of course, but I think she's doing a beautiful job with the part.
fantastic.
And it's, you know, everybody really is family. So it's if there's no one else I would rather her have a on-screen relationship with than Nick, or if it weren't Brian.
Well, thank you.
You're like,
Appreciate it.
it's so cool. It's, you know, it's such a unique. We've worked together on stage, of course, but to be able to be on the same television show is like,
It's beautiful.
really
It
cool.
really, really is. And I mean, talk about One Chicago and really kind of being that kind of family, especially in our show and now extended to all 4 shows. It's really, really amazing. But to keep that essence in reality is very, very rare and so beautiful to see. Yeah, it really is.
We can.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to ask about the parrot. We're going to see the parrot soon?
Yeah, and he can actually go to bed. If there's one guy that I would give my parrot to, it would be Colin. It
that
really,
parrot
really
would just
is.
sit and like peck me in the face all day.
We will be seeing the parrot. We absolutely will be seeing the parrot. The parrot is not going away. He's become a close friend and ally to Ethan.
Right?
Yeah,
I think the parrot needs its own Twitter handle.
I think so.
Chicago Parrot.
Chicago parrot.
That's the next show up?
That's the next one,
I think that's
actually.
the next
After
one.
Chicago Winter.
That's gonna do really well. So yeah, we'll be seeing much more of the parrot. He'll be stealing scenes left and right as usual.
He's a really good actor.
Well, mine
It
was
is
tied, my
amazing.
question was tied to that because the PTSD story has been so. I really like how they're kind of really exploring it.
They
and the
are.
parrot being a part of that. Are we going to see more of that?
Absolutely. I think, PTSD is a disorder that not many people know about or we don't know enough about. So for them to explore it is really quite fascinating for me and really amazing and something incredible that they're doing. And for Ethan's character to explore that also with the parrot, it's great. I feel like the best characters are the flawed characters, and each one of us have a particular flaw. I know Colin's character is going through his own kind of flaws and finding himself. So it's that kind of impactful essence within our own characters that I feel the audience enjoys. So to explore that even more is just much more gripping and great for television and great for our show.
Well, now you have a new adversary. And
Yes.
He's kind of flips his switch a lot, and you don't really know kind of how to approach that. So what's it like working with that side of the world now?
I mean, I should say first and foremost that Otto Asando is so fantastic, and he's such a wonderful actor, and he's a really great person to be on set with because I do have most of my work this year has been with him, and so thank goodness we get along. But they've written such an interesting character, and as we go through the next, as we get deeper into the season, you're going to learn more about Dr. Latham. And Connor is really constantly trying to navigate his way of dealing with that type of personality, but also realizing how much he doesn't know and how far he has to go in his own studies and his own exploration of the field. He's not quite the golden boy that he was built up to be last year. And like Brian was saying, those flaws in the character and those scenes where you're being constantly thrown off balance are the most fun to play. And it's fun to see the character get knocked down because you know that they have to grow, going forward.
And do you know that, have you talked to doctors and that's an issue that they have? That's that they never know, like they're sort of on not solid ground?
Well, I think certainly. I mean, it's a process of continuing education. I mean, one of the things that they always say is that even the worst student in medical school still gets called doctor at the end of the day after they graduate. So, and there's that terrifying thought.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. So just think about that next time you're in a hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I think there's always this constant struggle to really keep up with what's going on. I mean, the medical industry and the medical world is a constantly evolving place, and to think about where we have come from 100 years ago, let alone even 10 years ago, it's
Right.
They have to keep up with a world that is speeding light years ahead
Right.
at a time. And there are instances where you have mentors that really do tear you down in that way.
Yeah.
You have, I think, especially in the old school world where some of our consultants have come from, they've seen it all. They've, seen residents be berated by attendings. They've seen, but it's a world where it's like keep up or quit.
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just gonna add, it's such an interesting, I guess, profession in the sense of you. It's the one place where you have to be utterly confident in what you're doing because it's a life and death situation.
I was going to say, I love the way that it does the ethical things. Like the show shows the ethical situations of, well, I'm not allowed to do this, but the guy's going to die if I don't do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I think those shades of the stories have been fun because we can act one way away from our patients, and I'm sure it's the same in real hospitals. You're able to, what Brian was saying, you're able to be unsure of yourself away from a patient. The minute you step in front of a patient, you have to have the ultimate confidence that you're doing the right things to treat them. So it's those kind of minutiae are fun. They do great. Andy and Diana, our whole writers room, do an amazing job of sort of riding that line with the characters and having a good time, showing the balancing act between the learning process and the confidence of the people we're portraying.